Natalie.
Big thank you to Alistair and to Michael for the excellent commentary as always. And Blues, we're going to Wembley! Hooray! Again! We're off to the Etihad South, our second home. We've done it. We are through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Again, I feel like that's 4 years in a row? We are there again with an emphatic second half performance. My nerves settled and I started enjoying that towards the end of that half. We started, some beautiful football, some brilliant goals. Cannot wait to talk to it now with my guests. So I've still got Stephen and Esme in the studio. Esme, that was a very enjoyable second half, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a nice, relaxed, easy watch, wasn't it? We performed so well, looked so fluid and just controlled it throughout, I thought, and really good to see. Well, Foden's was a wonder strike, and then obviously Mahrez coming off the bench as well and making an impact. It was a very enjoyable second half to watch.
Yeah, much more dominant City performance. We started really seeing us at our best in parts of that half, Stephen.
You got 12 minutes to enjoy it, to then that to calm down. A little bit of relaxation for you. We were much better in the second half, of course, than the first half. Wasn't particularly bad, but that was more of the City that you want to see, really. A bit more clinical as well, if we're being honest. And I know football's really simple sometimes, just put the ball in the back of the net. And there was an element of just classiness in front of the goal that maybe we lacked lately. And I think maybe there was a tiny little bit, not luck, but sometimes something kind of come out of nowhere. The penalty, none of us were really expecting it. It was just a random rash challenge from Salisu, and it was a penalty. It was the right call, and that essentially was a springboard for City to take a little bit of momentum from that. Well dispatched from De Bruyne. I was nervous. I was ready to step in. I was like, please, Kev, please put this in. He did wonderfully. Shouldn't have doubted him. And from that, City, basically, they really grabbed hold of momentum from there, and it was a very professional performance after that, I would say.
So in the start of the second half, second half started well, but then the first big chance fell to Southampton. In the 60th minute, Ward-Prowse had a long shot and Stefan made a great save. Now, looking back, we know that was a pivotal moment now.
Yeah, I think at the time you sort of felt that it might be a moment where the tide shifted in our favour a bit, because it was a really, really important save that he made. And obviously, I think he's probably going to be disappointed with the goal that we conceded in the first half, whether he should have come out for it a bit sooner. But I think he stepped up really well there in that big moment, and that gave us a stepping stone to then, once we got the penalty, to shift the tide in our favour a bit more.
And that opportunity came just 2 minutes later. As Stephen said, a bit of a rash challenge on Jesus, but we were all certain it was a penalty.
Yeah, definitely. Jesus took the touch past him, and the challenge came in late. Once the ball had gone, it was, without a doubt, a penalty.
KDB puts it away. I wasn't nervous.
Oh, I was dreading
I wasn't looking away, was I?
Yeah. We could have done with Riyad on the pitch a little bit early to calm us down, but KDB, we should never have doubted him. A beautifully dispatched penalty, and I guess, to be honest, he was the right one to step up as well, and that's not a hindsight thing. He looked like a man who was really focused today. He had his arms out a couple of times, which Kevin De Bruyne does, where he's a very passionate man, is our Kev, and he took a bit of a senior role to step up and take the penalty, and it was really needed as well at that moment, because obviously Southampton have had a couple of good moments, the crowd behind them, and that kind of coming out the blue, so to speak, it definitely it deflated the St Mary's Stadium. It really did, and you could sense at that point City the belief just changed, and it was a big moment. And Kevin De Bruyne, he revels in big moments, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. He wish I should have been calm. I don't know what was. In hindsight, it was ridiculous that I wasn't calm. A few minutes after that, Southampton had their other big chance of the game. So they had 3 shots on target in the game. This one came from Shea Adams, who'd come on as a substitute. Scotland's Shea Adams, of course. Again, Stefan made a save. So there wasn't a lot for him to do in the game, but when we needed him, he did well.
Yeah, he stepped up, and I think that goal was really good play by Southampton. The long ball came over, and the guy took a really, really good touch on the half volley to control it and play in Adams, and it was a really good chance for him. We sort of said at the time, if he'd have put the ball anywhere else, it probably would have been a goal, but luckily he hit it fairly centrally, and Zach was able to make a really important save.
And then it got fun. That's when it started to get really, really fun. Phil Foden.
He's quite good at football, Natalie. He is.
Yes.
Philip Walter Foden. I love it. The big boys came on, like Mahrez, and we called the Avengers off the bench, didn't we? Like Mahrez and Foden came on, and they both delivered. Phil Foden, he's such a special player, isn't he? I think he really enjoyed that goal as well. Like, I think there was a sense of relief and euphoria from the players as well, because obviously we struggled to score goals recently. Foden coming on, Grealish was fine in the middle, he was, but Foden, just a beautiful strike, an absolute rasper of a left-foot strike from the. We all just jumped up and screamed happily and merrily, and then as well, of course. The football before that as well, we were purring in the watching the game back studio, and just the football was lovely, a little intricate passing, and City was starting to find a little bit of confidence then. I mean, De Bruyne's pass just before that, it didn't quite find its man, but the football was lovely before that. It was one touch, it was intricate. The triangles were really nice as he moved up the pitch, and it obviously ended with that beautiful strike. He's one of our own, and he's very good, and I love him. I love you, Phil. Cheers, Phil.
Yeah, we all love you, Phil. Lots of love for you. The purring continued for the next few minutes, and we really started getting into that gear where we're playing that kind of world-class, beautiful passing football. And then Cancelo comes up trumps with it with an incredible pass to Mahrez for that fourth goal.
Yeah, Cancelo's been outstanding this season. He's been amazing, as has Mahrez, and I don't think there's anyone else in the world football that you'd probably want cutting in off that right-hand side in that sort of area in the half space in the penalty box than Mahrez. Every time he gets the ball in that position and the defender's squared up to him, they know that he probably wants it on his left, but at the same time, there's been many an occasion where he's chopped back onto his right and finished that way. So I think a defender in that position has the fear of God in them because they don't know what he's going to do. And as a City fan watching him, I've so much confidence that he's just going to shift it, get a half yard of space and be able to finish. And that's what he did so well today.
And then we just finished the game out for the next 12 minutes, just playing beautiful football. And finally, we conquered Southampton, Stephen. We conquered them.
We did. We exercised those Hasenhüttl demons, and it feels nice to. Well, we did say before the game, full Pep once, twice, but a third time, it's really hard to do. It just is, mainly because the quality of this players, the pride comes into it, and mainly because Pep, he notices everything. He notices the patterns, and he knows what needs to be done. And I think there was an element of that as well. Like the players, they didn't want to be, 3 times against Southampton. They don't want to, have disappointing results against them. And now it's just really well timed. Obviously we go into international break now, and the players can just go and relax, focus on something else than City for a change for a couple of weeks, which I think would be good going into the business end of the season. And it was useful to at least put one of those problems behind us. Southampton, they're done for now for this season, and it feels really good to say that.
Yeah, it does really feel like a great confidence boost. I say ahead of this international break. What is it like at an international break, Esme? What will the players that are not going away be doing for the next 2 weeks?
You get a few more days off than you would normally when there's 3 games a week, because obviously there's not the same pressure around preparing for games, but the days that you are in will be really condensed and really intense, and probably do a few more running base drills, which aren't as much fun. But I actually really like international breaks because it's small numbers. There's maybe only 5 or 6 of you, so you can get a lot of touches on the ball and play like small-sided games, the things that take you back to what you did when you were a kid in the playground after school, just sort of kicking about with a few of the mates. That's how it feels on international, and it's just a really nice way to be able to reset and sort of switch your attention to the games that are coming afterwards, but just focus on a period of improvement, because you don't often get the opportunity to work on specific things during the season because you're constantly preparing for the next fixture. So as a player, I actually really enjoy them. But obviously, in the future, I'd like to be going away on international. Yeah,
make the most of it, because eventually you'll be busy. So
fingers crossed.
You will be.
As fans, we don't like it so much, I'll be honest with you. I spend most of my time, Stephen, I don't know if that's the same as you, just checking the scores for the international games, hoping our players have done well.
I don't know what to do with myself.
Fit.
I'm there like, now what happens? I'm like, my weekend is defined by Manchester City football clubs, and now I'm like, I probably see friends, socialise. Yeah, they exist.
Or go on the blue run.
Yeah, exactly. Go on the blue run, cover myself in blue paint.
Run.
That's what we're all going to be doing.
So we're back on the 2nd of April. We play Burnley here at home, back in the Premier League. Burnley always provide a tough game. What are you kind of expecting from that game? 2-week break and then straight back into that, Esme?
Yeah, I think it's probably a nice way to ease ourselves in a sense, because they've not been on the best form recently. But as you said, generally they're a pretty organised team, always again a threat on the counter-attack. But I think generally playing at home, we seem to perform reasonably well against Burnley, and I think in recent years have had some pretty high scoring wins against them. So hopefully we can come up with something similar to that. And as you say, we just hope everyone comes back fit from the international break.
3 o'clock Saturday kick-off, that one as well, Stephen. Now, Liverpool play 12:30 on that day. So, in theory, if Liverpool win their game, they will be top of the league for
Why are you
half an
doing
hour
this? Why are you
before
doing
we
this, Nat?
start. Hey, it's all right, because then we'll just be like, OK,
We'll breeze
watch
it.
us.
We'll be top of the league after that Burnley game.
Come 5 o'clock.
Of course we will. Of course we will. Never in doubt.
And then will you have one eye on the game that comes on the Tuesday? So that is the first leg of the Champions League game against Atletico. Again, here.
I think it's after the Burnley game, isn't it? So like well, I know it sounds like a cliche, but it kind of is an audition. You know, like I don't think City have been spectacular by their own standards recently. We've been fine. We won today and we were good. But honestly, right now that team, the shirt is up for grabs. It really is, especially with the forwards. We obviously scored a few goals today, but yeah, I think the Burnley game is going to be a way to set the tone, hopefully. And I'm expecting City will be good against Burnley. I'm not just saying that as a City fan. I honestly think we will be. I think they'll come back, and we all know the value of an international break. I mean, just as a break as a person, as a human being, you know, you take your mind off something, you forget some of your woes or whatever, your troubles, you come back and you feel refreshed. And then the Burnley game is such a good precursor to the Champions League. And also, it's kind of like a little mini Atletico anyway. Burnley, stylistically, they are defensive, they are tough, they are physical, they are aggressive. They're Atletico, you know, without Griezmann. And
Burnley
without,
will be thrilled with that.
Exactly, yeah, no, but I mean that.
She's like, oh, thank you, Stephen.
But they're cut from a very similar cloth, you know, in general. I mean, they probably haven't got the overall quality, but Burnley, they're not a bad dress rehearsal, put it that way. And obviously it's not just about that because we have to win, you know, we have to win that game for the title, but the two games, they're not too dissimilar, so it should help.
So what general consensus, we're happy about the international break. We'll all have and the players will all have a little break from thinking about the Premier League and the Champions League. We'll come back.
We're all going on the blue run.
We're all going on the blue run. We'll get covered in paint. Then we'll come back. Then we'll beat Burnley. Then we'll go into the Atletico game with confidence. And then there's something happening the weekend after, but we're not.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Yeah, let's not concern ourselves with that.
Thank you. Thank you. There you go. That is our nice, concise, confident feeling about the games coming up. Now, if you don't know who it is yet, it is time to reveal our Who's Stat. So, this is our game that we play when you have to work out who the former or current Manchester City player is. In case you've not seen it yet, a little refresh. Here's clue 1. So, clue 1 today was this player currently has the same appearances for City as Kyle Walker, or Kyle Walker before today, 210. Kyle's now on 211, but this player, 210. Unless they played today. This player broke the record of the number of completed passes in the 17-18 season with 2,825. And clue 3... Throughout his career, this player made 88 appearances for his national team, Argentina. I don't think there was no Argentinians, was there? Willy Caballero didn't come on for Southampton, so no Argentinians. So, Stephen, you got it on the first clue, you think. Who was it? Who is it?
Give you a clue. The General.
The General. Is it Nicholas Otamendi? It is Nicholas Otamendi!
Got on the first one as well, so I'll give myself a big point for that.
Can't believe you got that on the first one, by the way.
I know, yeah, 210 appearances.
I just recognise the silhouette.
No idea.
There he is doing you.
There you go, there's his celebration.
And that is scoring at Old Trafford.
And he was fantastic in the 17-18 season as well. He was in the Premier League Team of the Year. And that was I remember that being one of the main things about the season took away, how much his passing improved under Guardiola, and he was brilliant. I loved
it. Lovely defending from Lukaku there. Very much enjoying
Are we just
that.
watching United be terrible again? I love it.
Yes, Nicholas Otamendi. Absolutely loads of you at home got that. So thank you so much for taking part in Who's Stat. You can let us know by using hashtag Man City. CJ got it. Wilson to Manchester is Blue got it. Congratulations. There was loads of you got that as well. So, thank you very much for joining us on Matchday Live. We are through to the semi-final of the FA Cup. The draw will be taking place in about half an hour's time. The FA Cup semi-final, the weekend of the 16th and 17th of April. So we'll play on either the Saturday or the Sunday. And that 17th game was against Wolves. That will now have to be rearranged. So yes, the draw takes place. So in about half an hour, we'll know who we could draw. And the options so far are Chelsea, Crystal Palace, and the game later is Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest, I think. That was right.
Sounds good to me.
Right, yeah.
Fingers crossed. But Esme, thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful day for you. Wonderful day for the women's team as well. Stephen, wonderful day. Thank you for coming. Enjoyed it?
It's been beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you very much to you at home for joining us on Matchday Live. We'll all go off and have a little break now. We'll see you back on April the 2nd, back in the Premier League for the game against Burnley. Now, this evening here at the Etihad Stadium, the EDS take on Liverpool in the Premier League 2. You can get that game live on City Plus. Have a wonderful international break, and we'll see you very soon.